What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Will Motivation, back again with another video. And today we are talking about how I can help you get your dream car, whether it's a Lamborghini, Ferrari, or whatever. You know, this is a car channel, but I also am really into investing in real estate, business, that kind of thing. So in this video, I want to show you guys, because I saw a question when I posted one of my last videos. A lot of people were asking me, how do I find my real estate that I invest in? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to share one of my, like I did a real estate investment course a little while ago. A lot of people were asking me how to invest in real estate and if I had an online course, if I do mentoring, things of that nature. I do have an online course. You can go to my website, willmotivation.com/invest. You can check out the course. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some free game. So we're going to call this Real Estate Sundays. A lot of times, y'all see me on here buying cars. I bought this Lamborghini SV, which was my dream car. And, I want to share with you guys how to get it. So just stay tuned for the rest of this video. If you're interested in learning more about how to invest in real estate, go ahead and watch this video. Drop me comments if you got questions and you want to learn more about how to invest in real estate. Just go ahead and ask, man. That's what I'm here for. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the top and look forward to your questions. And hey, I got a lot of good content coming. See you guys soon. Happy Sunday.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Will Moss, Will Motivation. I am actually super excited to be getting into a new section. And in this section, we're talking about the actual art of a deal. So this is some critical, we're actually going to get into some of the nitty gritty stuff. I'm going to show you guys what I've done, some of my methods to build my real estate portfolio when buying rental properties and flips. So you guys are going to want to basically get a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, get into a space where you can concentrate and really digest what I'm going to be teaching in this section. And we're going to start first with finding real estate properties to purchase. So this is like the starting point for me. Once I knew I wanted to start investing in real estate, I had to figure out how to find property. And for me, being an online person, I'm in the online business. I run a website. I run several websites, actually. So the logical thing for me to do was go online and start looking for real estate, and that's how I found most of my real estate. But we are going to go over some tips and strategies for finding property. All right. So now if you look at this slide, I have a couple of asterisks beside a couple of these ways to find real estate properties to purchase. All right. These that I have asterisks beside, these different methods or strategies are ones that I have used personally to grow my portfolio. So I can talk about them extensively. I can answer your questions about those methods, but I can also speak to some of the other methods that people use to find good real estate deals. And there's even more methods than what I have here. So if you have used some of those methods, please feel free to share that with the rest of the class by posting comments on other resources, because that's how we are going to basically share knowledge. And that's part of the theme of this property. Once you buy into this course, you have access to it for life, and I'm going to keep it up to date, and we are all going to just share knowledge. All right. So let's get down to the different types of ways you can find properties and find deals to invest in. All right. So number one, we just got done talking about in an earlier chapter, we talked about finding a realtor, right? So once you find a realtor, that should be, if it's a good realtor, that realtor should understand your price range and your budget for your properties, where you want to have the properties, what the parameters are. Like if you say, I only want properties in certain zip codes, I only want properties under $100,000 or whatever, under $500,000 or whatever your budget is, how many bedrooms you want or whatever your parameters are, you give those to your realtor. And typically what a realtor will do is they will set up alerts in their MLS system. Usually they have some type of system that they work with, and they will email you on a daily basis or a weekly basis different properties that meet your criteria. So that is the easiest way for a realtor to start sending you different properties as they come up on the market. And then if you see a property that you like, you can follow up with your realtor. Now, let me show you, or let me see if I can find real quick an example email from a realtor. So let's check real quick. Okay, so take a look at this email that I received from my realtor, Rich, that you guys probably saw in one of my previous videos. But Rich set up this alert in his MLS system. It's called FlexMLS.com system that he uses to send me real estate deals. And based on my parameters, he sent me automatically this list of properties. So as you can see, it'll have a picture of the property, the price for the property, the location or address, whether or not it's a new listing or an updated listing, price. Some of them might not have pictures with them. Some of them do. And so if you look and you like one of them, you can actually click on, well, that's probably going to take us to the location. Yeah, that's taking us to the location. Oh, no, it's taking us to the list of properties. Okay, yeah, so it takes us to the full list of properties. But I want to see this specific property. So if we go click on the picture, see if it takes us. Usually it'll take you directly to that specific property, but I think it's no longer active. Okay, so anyway, this is an old email I just pulled up. But anyway, it'll pull up a listing of properties that you might be interested in. So this is how your realtor can help you, essentially. So let's go back into my presentation. All right. All right, so we're talking about realtors. So that's the easiest thing a realtor can do, is they can start sending you properties that match the parameters that you're looking for. But a more active realtor, what they will do is they will use their network and their connections to actually talk to you or offer properties to you that might not be on the market. Now, those properties that got emailed to me are already on the market through the MLS, the multiple listing service, right? So that's the biggest listing of real estate for sale that all realtors use. But a lot of times realtors have relationships with banks, and they might ask their bankers, hey, I've got an investor. Do you have any foreclosures or properties that you may have taken back for people that defaulted on their loans that are in a certain zip code? Send me the information on those properties, and I'm going to share it with my investor. So like one of my realtors, his name is also Rich, which is funny enough. He was referred to me by my friend John that I talked about in some of my videos. And he called me one day and said, hey, got a property for you. It's in a zip code that you like, and let's go take a look at it, right? So this is a realtor doing his job. He knew I was an investor. He knew I was looking for good deals. And this property, I believe, was like $79,000. And he basically showed it to me, and I bought it. And then, he brought the deal to me. It was not on the market. A bank actually owned it. And I did the numbers on it, and I saw, okay, I can make some rental income off of this. And it's a good price where I knew if it hit the market, it'd probably be a little bit more than what they were asking. It didn't really have any major damage. So I will actually show you guys that property real fast. Let's take a look. Let's go to Zillow. I bought that property for like 70. I want to say 79,000, maybe a little bit more. Property was 7600 Farm Hill. So this is a property, and Zillow and realtor.com are tools that we're going to talk about a little bit more that I use. But here's the property that a realtor brought to me that was not on the market. And this is my property, so keep that. All right, so this house is currently worth over $200,000. Now, if you look at the price history, I bought it in 2013 for, okay, so it was more than what I thought. It was $104,000, but that's still a great deal, right? $104,000, and I bought it in 2013, and now it's worth double what I paid for it. Okay, so it's a great investment, and it cash flows. Like, I make the rent on this house is like $1,400 a month, and the mortgage on it is like $500 or $600 a month. So it cash flows very well. And this deal was brought to me by a realtor. I didn't go out and find this deal on the MLS or on one of these websites I'm going to show you. This was brought to me by a realtor. So if you get some good relationships with realtors, they can bring you deals like this. So let's get back into it. All right, so realtors, that's one of the number one main ways. So one of the first things you want to do is start interviewing realtors, meeting realtors, see who you're comfortable with, see who has a good work ethic, and then start asking them to bring you deals based on whatever your criteria is, how much money you want to spend. Number two is wholesalers. Now, wholesalers are not as easy to find as realtors. Wholesalers, like I know some wholesalers, and the way that I found them was through, well, actually, once I started buying real estate, and I set up my limited liability company, and then I started being listed as the owner of several properties. They actually found me and they started mailing me to my business address, basically mailing me opportunities, telling me that they were a wholesaler and they have opportunities and to sign up for their email list. So I sign up for their email list, and now I get email from wholesalers with different properties. So let me see if I can find one example of those emails that I get from wholesalers. It's similar to what a realtor would do, is send you deals, but the difference is a wholesaler, they are not a realtor usually, and what they're looking to do is they're looking to either flip a house to you that has not been rehabbed. So maybe they buy a house and they don't have the time or money or whatever to invest in the rehab. And what they want to do is make a quick profit off of selling that house to you that they've already purchased. Or what other wholesalers do in different parts of the country where it's legal is they will get a house under contract without actually executing and paying for that house or buying that house or executing that contract. They will flip that contract over to you for a profit. So let's say as a wholesaler, and I talked about wholesaling in the course already, so you should know what they do, but they might have a contract on a property and basically for an additional $5,000 on whatever they're like let's say they found a property for $100,000 and they don't have the time or money to rehab it and put it on the market. They want to make a quick $5,000, so they go to you and say, "Hey, you want to buy this house for $105,000, and I'll wholesale it to you." And then you pay $105,000, you get the house. They make $5,000, and then you try to rehab it for $200,000 or whatever it might be. You flip it or you turn it into a rental. So that's what wholesalers do. But let me see if I can show you an example of the types of deals that I get from wholesalers. Okay, so I found an example of an email that a wholesaler sent me. These people actually found my business name, emailed me a postcard, not emailed me, but snail mailed me a postcard to my address. I got the card, it said, "Hey, we're a wholesaler. We got opportunities all over the city. Sign up for our email list and we'll start sending you those deals." So I was like, cool, I'm an investor. I want to see what they have. Signed up for their email list, went to their website, that kind of thing. And then they start sending me these opportunities. So here's an example. And they usually deal with older homes in the inner city. So it's not really what I focus on, but some people might. There's money to be made. But anyway, look how they break down the deal. This is a wholesaler that sent me this deal. It says, "Amazing brick flip opportunity in Franklin Park." This is actually the neighborhood where I grew up. The ARV is adjusted resale value or after rehab value, whatever you prefer, right? Same thing. They're saying it's going to be worth $400,000 after you rehab it, with a potential for $450,000 once you sell it, which is probably about right. But usually you got to do a lot of work in these houses, and so they're going to auction it off. When they say starting price, that means they're going to try to get the highest bidder, and they're starting off selling it at $170,000. And they're estimating your rehab will be $120,000. But you can't just go off of what they say. You got to go see the property yourself if you can, and then you got to estimate the rehab for yourself. You can't just go based off of what a wholesaler says because they might make it low. But anyway, they send you some pictures of it. You can click to see more pictures of it. Then they tell you, okay, it's 4 bedrooms, one full bath, 1 half bath, 2,600 square feet, basically giving you the info on the house. And then they show you a few comps of houses nearby and what they sold for right here. So they're trying to basically show you a deal, right? And you can learn from this, because if you ever want to start doing wholesaling, you could actually copy this formula. So what I'll do is I'll add this as an additional piece of information with this particular lesson, and then you guys can kind of take a look at it. And if you want to do wholesaling, you might be able to take advantage. But anyway, this is what wholesalers send you. And so if I was interested in this, all I gotta do is pick up the phone and call them at the number below, or email them and say, "Hey, I want to go see this house and make an offer on it. So that's an example of what wholesalers can bring you. And these wholesalers found me. But if you go out and network, you set up your limited liability company as a real estate investment company, you start doing deals, they will start to find you. But you can start asking around, start going to real estate investor, what they call REI meetups, and like they might have clubs in your city, and you can meet up with people and just start asking around, because there's almost always there's some wholesalers in every market. People trying to make a quick buck that way. So there it is. Now you could even join this wholesaler's buyer list, because if you're in the United States, you could buy anywhere in the United States. So you could potentially get on this list and start looking at some of these deals that they send. So I'm sure somebody's going to probably ask me about that. So like I said, I'm going to include this as an attachment that you can look at. All right. So like I said, grab some coffee, grab something to drink, because this is one of the most important lessons in the entire course, because I'm showing you how I found my properties. All right. Now, next thing you can do is basic. It's called networking. Going out, you need to get some business cards. If you don't know where to get business cards, go to 48hourprint.com. That's where I get my business cards. And get a designer to design a business card on for your real estate company. I like to put a picture of myself, because it's easier for people to remember you when you put a picture of yourself on your business card, your name of your company, your address, your phone number, your email, so that people know how to contact you, your website. Put all of that on your business card and start going out and telling people, handing out your card, telling people that you want to buy investment properties, and that if somebody knows of a property, that they should give you a call, because you might be interested in making an offer on it. That's how you network. Everywhere you go, in every situation, you can do that, and that's just called hustling, man. So I've gotten some leads through networking like that, but that's not my preferred method, because usually I didn't have time to do that kind of thing. So it would just be a convenience thing for me. But if you've got time and you're really aggressively trying to go after leads, get some business cards, start going to real estate investor meetups, and start taking those cards wherever you go and start handing them out and telling people to call you if they know of anybody trying to sell a house, so you can evaluate that house to see if you want to make an offer on it. All right. Next thing, number 4, is marketing for leads. So what do I mean by marketing for leads? Basically, it's another level on top of networking, but instead you either can create flyers, you can create mailings, or you can create a letter. You can create ads that you can run online on sites like Facebook to target people that are homeowners that might potentially want to sell. So for example, snail mail. You can actually go to the post office and get a list of addresses in a particular zip code that you might want to target. So I love my zip code where I live, and that's where I have most of my rental properties. So I could go get a list of all of the houses in my zip code from the post office, and I could actually create a mailing or create a letter, and I could basically put in that letter, here's who I am, here's what my business is, here's where I'm located, here's how to contact me. I am interested in buying properties in your zip code. If you are interested in selling anytime soon, or you need some quick cash, then potentially sell me your house. But first thing you got to do is call me so we can talk about your house and like what the parameter, how many bedrooms it has, how much do you owe on it, all that good stuff, so that you can actually make an offer on it. So and you can actually mail those letters out either through postcard marketing, and you can do that through 48-hour print as well, where you can also get the business cards. But you can also do that through direct snail mail by sending letters out. And I've received letters like that from real estate investors as well as a homeowner. The other thing you can do is you can put out physical signage. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those signs, like "We buy ugly houses." So for them, those people that do those campaigns, and they put up those signs, it must work for them because they keep doing it. And basically, they set up a website or they set up a phone number, and they say, if you got a messed up, ugly house, we'll potentially buy it. And people might be in a bad situation. They see that sign and they're like, okay, I'm going to call and see about selling my house because I want to get out of it for whatever reason, right? And so with that signage, you could put up those signs and build on billboards, on those, yard signs or whatever. You can get those from 48-hour print as well. I'm just trying to make it easy for people. But anyway, you can put up signage and you can put your phone number or your website on there and have people call you if they want to sell a home. You get leads like that. Now, I haven't done that. I haven't really had the need to do that. because I'm going to show you why. But one of the other more futuristic ways to do things, if I was going to market for leads, is I would use Facebook, because with Facebook you can target ads, and that could be a whole nother course on how to use Facebook and create ads on Facebook. But if you're interested in that, just ask me questions. I'll do a small lesson on how to post ads on Facebook and how to target people based on location. But basically, you can pay to send a message or post an ad on Facebook targeting people based on zip code or city. And you could basically, just like people put those signs up in the street that say, "We will buy ugly houses," you could put that same thing on Facebook and target people right down to the zip code, and you'll probably get leads. And you can have those people go to your website, submit a form talking about their house and how much they owe on it and all that good stuff. And then you could call them back, go see the house, and maybe make an offer on it. Okay, so you can use Facebook for that. Now, I've never done that, but I know how to do it. I could easily do it if I was really trying to aggressively go after deals like that. Now, the way I have found most of my deals, I'm getting ready to show you that right now. So this is the meat of the experience that I'm going to bring to the table. I'm going to show you now. There's not a big secret to what I'm getting ready to show you, but I use online resources. So when I start buying all of my investment properties, I found most of them online. Hope you got something to drink, because I'm going to show you. I'm going to actually demo the sites that I use the most. I'm going to show you the first site that I used, and I'm going to show you the site that I discovered after talking to my realtor to find most of my foreclosure deals. And I'm going to tell you some stories with this that are very, very interesting. And you need to know this, because I don't want you to get discouraged, because the market goes up and the market goes down. When the market is up, there's a lot of people buying homes and interested in buying homes. So the inventory or the number of homes for sale usually shrinks, or the prices go up really high, right? And that's what kind of market we're in right now, where the market has gone up over the last 5 or 6 years or so, or even more than that, like probably the last 8 years or so. The market has been going up, okay? So don't get discouraged, because when the market goes down, and a lot of people are predicting that the market will go down again or crash or something like that, and a lot of people are worried about it. But for those of you that have invested in this course, listen to me. If the market ever crashes again, similar to how it crashed before, that is your opportunity to become a millionaire. That is your opportunity to jump in. And I'm not saying that you can't do it now in an up market, because who's to say? We're up now, but maybe it can even go to double what it is now before it crashes again, right? So you get in when it makes sense. But if it ever crashes and people start panicking and the market drops dramatically to the point where things start looking artificially low, like when I got most of my properties, then that's when you strike. And that's when this knowledge is really going to be crucial to you. And this course is really going to pay off, because you're going to see how I did it. And then you're going to be able to do the same thing and take advantage of any future market crash. All right. So let's get into how I found most of my properties through online resources. Now, I'm going to run through the quick list. Some of them I used and some of them I have not used. So I've used realtor.com to find properties. I've used Zillow.com to find properties. I used HUDHomestore.com to find properties, and I used HUD Home Store the most once I found out about it. I used HomePath to find properties. My realtor put me onto that, my realtor Rich. The MLS, of course, I've used, but I haven't used their website heavily, but they do have a website. But what happens is it ends up pointing to realtor.com. So realtor.com has MLS info, which is crucial, because the MLS has most of the real estate for sale. It's on the MLS all over the country. And that feeds into realtor.com. And that's the first place I went to start looking to buy property. All right. And I'm going to show it to you. And then this is a recent one that I found. I'm going to show it to you, but I haven't used it because I've got a little bit of reservations with it, but I'm going to try it out. So, I'll add that information to this course as we go once I try that out. But I'm going to tell you what my reservations are with using a site like foreclosure.com. Okay. Now, let's jump into the very first site I used to find my very first 4 rental properties. I used realtor.com. So let's jump in how to use realtor.com. All right. So here's realtor.com. You just go to realtor.com. It'll take you to the search page, and there we go. All right. So where I'm located, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, but I like my zip code where I live. When I first started looking for properties, I was like, let me look for property that's close to my house because my condo is over here in this zip code, and my condo, they were telling me when I wanted to sell it, it would be worth $90,000, but I paid $140,000 for it. So I was like, maybe houses in the same zip code have also dropped in value artificially low. Which, when I say artificially low, I just think it's lower than it really should be. Like the value is more than 90 grand is what I'm thinking. So that's artificial to me. So I went to realtor.com and I put in my zip code and I hit search and I saw a bunch of properties. Now, when I went to search years ago, like when I first started looking, it was 2010. There were a lot more properties for sale. Right now, there's 176 homes for sale in this zip code. But when I went to look, there were a whole lot more. But it's the same. The principle is the same. It's just that the prices are different and the number of houses for sale are different. But what you can do when you pull this up, right? There's all these different properties in this zip code, and you can start looking at them and say, okay, what's my budget? So first of all, let me sort it by lowest price first. All right. So as you can see, you got some land here that you could buy. It's $50,000. You've got some condos and townhomes. So like the cheapest properties in this zip code look to be condos. And it's funny because this is where most of my properties are. So I'm familiar with all of these neighborhoods. I'm familiar with all of these condos. I have houses in every neighborhood like that you can see. Like all of these houses we're looking at, I got houses in those neighborhoods, or I've owned condos that I sold and flipped, all of this. So I'm very familiar with this. So the more familiar you are, the easier it becomes for you to identify a deal because you know what the value should be. So, for example, this townhome here for $70,000. I have property over here. It might be a good deal, but as you can see, it says pending. That means it's in contract. So if you look, all of these ones that say pending, that means somebody made an offer on them already and it's in contract. So that takes a lot of them out, and you can filter those out. But I just want to show you what it looks like. But this is the #1 site that I use. There's all different types of things that you can filter on. You could put in a price range. You could say don't go over 130,000. All right. Boom. That narrows it down to 23 homes. You could say how many bedrooms you want, how many bathrooms you want, what kind of properties you're willing to look at. What types, new construction, existing homes. You can hide the pending ones. Right, so let's hide the pending ones, and that narrows it down dramatically, right? And then there's other things, man. You can slice and dice and like find what meets your criteria. And usually the #1 criteria as an investor is how much money you can spend on a house. And how do you determine how much money you can spend? You have that banking relationship and you understand like what the banks are willing to lend you. So like maybe they're willing to lend you $200,000. And you got to come up with a $40,000 down payment, or maybe they're willing to lend you $100,000. You got to come up with $20,000 of your own money, right? So if they're willing to lend you $100,000, then that means in this zip code you can afford like 3 out of 4 of these houses. You see what I'm saying? So those will be the houses that you will look at, and then you evaluate each one. You go to see those properties, but first you can run the numbers on them for a rental, and then you run the numbers on them for a flip. But this is how you find them. Realtor.com is, for me, has been it was my first go-to source. My first 4 properties I bought them by looking through it just like this. Now, if you click on these, you get all the detail. You can look at all the details about the house. You can request a showing. You can see who the realtor is, who's the presenting realtor, or basically who's listing this is. And that's how I found my realtor, Rich, because he was the realtor on one of the properties I was looking at. And I called Rich and I said, hey, I want to see this property. It was a Friday night. I went and met up with Rich that Friday, and he told me, now some of these houses are foreclosed homes, and they've gone to HUD, and he showed me how I could buy the homes from HUD. And then that was the next thing. So then I was like, okay, well, how do I know what houses are HUD homes and what houses are not, right? Because these are on the MLS. They could be for sale by owner. They could be HUD. They could be regular listings from somebody just trying to sell their house. So he told me about this site called HUD Home Store. And this is where you find HUD homes. And basically what a HUD home is a home that has been foreclosed on, went back to the bank, but the bank had FHA insurance. So that means it was insured by the government. So the bank got their money from insurance, and then the government got the house, and then the government auctions the houses online through this site called HUD Home Store. This was not the first site I went to, but after I talked to Rich, my realtor, after finding Rich on realtor.com, he told me about how to find HUD homes, which are auction homes. And the auction process is so simple that I got excited and I went right home and I got on this HUD home store website that Rich told me about. And I went in here and I put in my state, right? I was like, let me see what kind of HUD homes they have. I put in my county, Franklin, and then I did a search. Now, there's 3 HUD homes in my county, right, and in my state, and they have different statuses, and I'll kind of explain to you what they are. But this website is where I found the vast majority of all of my deals. When I first went to this website and did a search on my county and my zip code, there was probably over 100 HUD properties on there. And I was like salivating and licking my chops to try to buy as many of them as I could. And that first night, I went home and we bid on 4 properties through HUD that Rich had helped me look at, and then he helped me bid on them. And basically, what happens when you buy on HUD, like, so this is like, I'm telling you, this is where you need to be really listening. When you go on HUD, like, because right now there's not a lot of properties for sale on HUD, but you can look in your city and state. You might not find a lot, or maybe you do. But when the market crashes and you get a whole bunch of people that walk out on their loans, and those loans get those homes get foreclosed on, and then they go back to HUD, they get more and more properties. And then the more properties they are, the more there's more opportunities for you to bid on those properties. And the way it's so easy to bid, you just get a realtor that's qualified and able to make bids for their clients on HUD homes. Like Rich was my realtor to bid because he was qualified to bid on HUD homes. And he would write up the offer. I would sign it or whatever. He would submit it. And then the next business day, I would find out if my offer was accepted or not. It was as simple as that. And if it was accepted, I had to go put down like earnest money, which would be like $500 or $1,500 or something less than, usually it was less than $2,000 of earnest money to basically say I'm serious about buying this house and I'm now in contract. And then I had usually up to a month to close and buy that house. But it was simple as that. That's how simple it was. And that's how I found most of all of my properties in my portfolio today. Most of all of my flips, that's how I found them. It was on this website right here called HUDHomestore.com. These are foreclosed on properties. Now, there's different statuses, like what's called exclusive, which means that there's only certain people that can buy it. And this goes based on time period, because like HUD like they want a homeowner to buy the house and live there. But if nobody buys it after a couple of weeks, or I think it's like 2 weeks, then anybody can buy it. Like, but at first they might even, exclusive might mean it's only up like government workers or fire department. I can't remember all the different statuses and who can buy with those statuses. But eventually, if nobody buys the house for like an owner occupied situation where somebody's gonna buy it and live in it for a year, then it will go into what's called an investor status, and that means anybody can buy it as an investment. There's no stipulations. And when I was buying properties through HUD in like 2010 all the way up until like 2015 or so, or 2016, this is where I was getting them. And they were in investor status, and I was the investor, and I was making bids on them. And they either say yes or no, and sometimes they'll say no, and then I would raise my bid a little bit. But the thing is, anybody could be bidding every night, so you have competition. But anyway, this is where we're talking about, where do you find the deals? This is where I found most of my deals. And if you want to see what it looks like, you click on a property, it'll show you the property, some pictures. You can call your realtor and tell your realtor you want to go see it. But you can see where it's located on the map, right? You can find out who's the agent related. You could call one of these people if you don't have a realtor. You could call the local realtor and ask them to show it to you. But that, like, this is it. Like, this is where I found most of my properties. Now, there's some other sites like Zillow.com where you could also, they have great information. You can find, like, I think I found this property on Zillow. Just searching around and looking at what's for sale in different zip codes. I bought this house for $35,000, I believe, and now it's worth $95,000. I rehabbed it, and this one I bought recently. I bought it. Let's see what the realtor.com and Zillow are similar because they have all kind of stats on the property. But let me see, where is the history? Oh, so that's the landlord view. I'm the landlord. They recognize me as the landlord, but I want you guys to see the history. I bought it for $36,000. No, $38,000. Here it is. I bought it in 2014. Man, it seems like it was more recent than that. But anyway, I bought this house for $38,000 and it's worth $95,000 now. I refurbished it. Then what I like about Zillow though, it's similar to realtor.com. Realtor.com, I think the user interface is a little bit better. But the thing about Zillow, if you have bought a property and you're ready to list it for rent or for sale, Zillow is the place to list it because they get so many people that look. So when I rented this place out, I listed it on Zillow and I had an open house with probably 30 people that showed up, and I leased it out like the next day. So Zillow is great for listing your rental properties. It's the best. It's like the leader right now. All right, so take notes on that. But I'll talk about that a little bit more in a future course. So anyway, where are we, man? I know this is a long session, but this is some of the most critical information because I'm showing you guys how and where I bought my properties. So the next one is homepath.com and then foreclosure.com. So let's go to homepath.com. Now, HomePath is similar to HUD homestore.com because it's really like with Fannie Mae. So Fannie Mae offers some loan products. It's a government-based nonprofit, and you can get a loan to buy a house through Fannie Mae. And if you default on that loan or you walk out on that loan and people don't pay their loan, then they get the house back, and it goes back to Fannie Mae, and then Fannie Mae puts those properties up for sale through HomePath, similar to what HUD does. And you can actually find properties here. So I just put in my zip code and there was nothing in my zip code, but they showed me like the next best thing. And just all of the sites you can filter through the results and look at the properties and then basically go see them as long as they're not under contract. But like this one's under contract. So it's not sold yet. The reason why they show it is because potentially it could come out of contract and you could be sitting there waiting for it so that you can buy it. You know what I mean? So you could save it. Create an account on all these sites so that you can start keeping track of the properties that are in your price range and start looking at them and start talking to your realtor about going to go see them, and then making offers on these properties. But this is how I'm doing it. Okay. Now this is an interesting one that I haven't used yet, but I probably will use it. And it's called foreclosure.com. Now, get the best real estate deals first before they hit the mass market. Hot foreclosure deals with one simple search. Now, I'm interested in using this. I haven't used it yet, but I want to find if there's anything that's been foreclosed on in my zip code. Now, what do these different color codes mean? I don't know what these color codes. Bankruptcy. So you gotta play around with this a little bit. But okay, here's the color codes right here. Foreclosures, bankruptcies, pre-foreclosures. All right, so they're all kind of interesting. As is deals. Now, what's that? Oh, it's land. $3 million worth of land. This is real interesting. So this site is basically designed for people trying to get a deal. Now, if anybody has used this, please post a comment with this video or in this class session or lesson. Post a comment if you have used this. I plan on trying to use it, but the thing is, a lot of times this information might not be accurate or up to date because they're not going based off of the MLS, which is usually up to date. They are going based off of information like public record information. And so we don't know how often that stuff gets updated. So you might get excited because you see a bunch of deals here, and then you go and investigate those deals, and then you find out that, oh, that information was super old. Now, I don't know how often this information is updated, but that's what my suspicion would be, or my reservation. But I'm going to try it out now because there's some stuff in here that I might be interested in because I'm looking at my zip code, and for example, this house right here, I'm like, it's not in my zip code that I really like, but you can go to the bank, if it goes back to the bank, you could go to the bank and try to make a deal, make an offer, figure out. Oh, now let me show you real quick. Let's say we found a property that we wanted to investigate. Let's see. So they're not showing me. Go back because what I'm going to show you is how you can figure out who to contact. So let's say we want this one. So this is funny. This house is on C Star Drive. To get the complete address, you got to sign up. So they might have a fee related to this. But once you get that address, you can investigate what bank owns it by going to your auditor's website. So if I go to Franklin County Auditor, I'm going to just do this real quick and then this lesson is over. But I'm going to show you, you can search through your county auditor website, like real estate. We want to find out property search. So this is my county where I live. Let's say you see a foreclosure that you're interested in. You want to find out who owns the foreclosure so that you can contact them and make an offer on the house before it hits the MLS. So you can do a search. We're going to do a search by, you could do it by name, but by address would be more appropriate. So I'm going to put one of my properties in here. A207 C Star. Let's do a search. Boom, property came up. Now my address is out of date. But anyway, you could use this information to figure out who owns it, what's their address, and then either send them some mail, or if you know the name of the person, or if it's a business, like if it's a bank, then you could call the bank and ask for the real estate department and investigate who the person is to talk to about making an offer on a home that they have. All right, so that's how you do it. Hopefully this lesson was helpful. I showed you my most potent tools for finding real estate deals, and that is realtor.com and HUDHomestore.com. Now, right now, like I said, if you go on HUD Home Store to find properties, there might not be a lot there, but if the market crashes and then people start letting their houses go, then HUD is going to fill back up and you're going to have a field day of properties for good prices. But you can use realtor.com to find what's available out there in your area, put in your criteria, your budget, your price range, what you're looking for, the areas where you want to find property, and then start making phone calls and start trying to set up appointments to see those properties and make offers on those properties for the numbers that work for you. So that's it. I know this was a long lesson, but this is crucial. This is like some of the most important stuff in the course, is how to find your properties. You got questions, ask them in the comments. See you in the next lesson.